Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Are you tired of being limited by generic off-the-shelf blogging platforms? Do you dream of having your own space on the internet with a sleek professional blog and with your very own custom domain? Well, you are not alone. Thousands of people just like you want to break free and build something unique. And that's exactly what we are going to do today. In this video, I'll walk you through the entire process of installing Ghost, a powerful and modern blogging platform on a fresh Ubuntu 24.04 server. But this isn't just about following a script. I want to empower you. We'll not only cover the step-by-step commands, but we'll also learn how to read and understand documentation. So you are just not a passive follower, but an enabled creator. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a fully functional blog ready to go and the confidence to tackle future installations and configurations on your own. So get ready to build something awesome. Let's dive in. Alright, before we get our hands dirty with the commands, let's talk about the foundation we are building on. Think of this like laying the groundwork for a house. You can't just start building without a solid plan. Ghost has some very specific requirements to run smoothly and securely. The documentation has outlined all of them, but I want to explain why each one of them is very important. First off, the virtual machine itself. For this, you can either use Ubuntu 22.04 or Ubuntu 24.04. These are the most stable and officially supported Linux distribution for Ghost. They are a great choice because they have a large community and are well documented, and they are regularly updated as well. Next, let's talk about the software stack. Ghost is built on very specific set of tools that work together seamlessly. So first is Nginx. This is our web server. It is what will be handling all the incoming traffic and securely serving your blog to the world. Ghost has a built-in tool that will configure Nginx for you, including setting up an SSL certificate for secure HTTPS access. Next up is Node.js. Ghost is a Node.js application. We need to install a specific supported version. As of now, Ghost-CLI requires the specific LTS, that means the long-term support version of Node.js. So we'll make sure to get this one right. Next requirement is MySQL 8. This is our database. It's where all your blog posts, user data, settings, and everything will be stored. It's a robust and reliable database that works perfectly with Ghost. Okay, so I already have my virtual machine ready, and you can get a virtual machine by using any VPS hosting provider or any cloud service provider like AWS or DigitalOcean, Vultr. There are so many out there. You can purchase a virtual machine and it will hardly cost you around $3 to $5 a month, the minimum configuration that is required for running Ghost. So I have already created my virtual machine and will log in into the virtual machine. Since I'm using Linux, I'll be using system's default SSH terminal to do that. You can use your own built-in terminal or any SSH client like Putty. Since in most of the virtual machines that you get the root login. So I'll show you how to log in into the root login and then create a user and proceed further. The same has been shown in the documentation as well. So if we come to the documentation, the first step it tells is create a new user. So it is telling you to SSH into your server and create a new user. So we are going to do the same thing. I'll try to show everything by reading the documentation. So we'll read each step, we'll implement that, and I'll try to explain as much as possible. Okay. So let's open the terminal and we'll do SSH root at, I have my IP copied. This is the IP. Then it will ask for a password. So enter the password here. Okay. So as you can see, I'm able to log in into the server. So the login has been successful. It will show some things like welcome to Ubuntu 24.04, what is the system load and all those things. Once it is done, the first step as per documentation is creating a new user. So how do you create a new user in Ubuntu or Linux? There is a command add user. So what we'll do, we'll run add user and let's call our user as deploy. This is my general convention because for any user that does the deployment of a software, I used to call it deploy. You can give any name you want. So when you press enter, it will ask for a new password. So let's give a new secure password. While you enter the password, it won't be shown on the terminal. This is the default behavior of an Ubuntu operating system. After entering the password, it will ask for some more information. So I'll just press enter for the default. So let's press enter, and it will ask whether this information is correct, and I'll say yes. So the user has been added. So what does the documentation says next? So it is telling add the user to the sudo group. So what does this mean? User mode. So there is a utility in Linux known as user mode that modifies a user. Then you have -ag. What does it mean? -a means append to the groups. So a user already has some group. -a tells the system to append the next group into that user as well. Capital G is used for giving the name of the group, and sudo is the name of the group and then the user. So basically user mode, append sudo group to the user and the name of the user that you are giving. So we'll do the same thing. So let's do user mode -a g sudo, and for us the username is deploy. So the user has been added to the sudo group. So why do we need to add the user to the sudo group is because in Linux, while running some commands like installing a package or restarting a service, you need the sudo privileges. You should have the privilege to run those commands. So that is why we need to add our user to the sudo group. So now when we have done this, let's go to the next step. So it tells login into the new user. So what they have done is su dash and username. This is the general command to enter into any user from the root terminal. So we'll do that dash and our username is deploy. When you do that, you will be able to log in into the deploy user. So the difference you can see, when you were in the root shell, everything was like white, black and white. Now you have colored green, which signifies that you are into a normal user. Now there are many things that we need to do. The first thing that I prefer to do, as I have discussed in my previous videos as well, is to update the system. So how do you update the system in Linux? You just run the command sudo apt update. So it will ask for the password. So use the password that you had given before, and it will start updating the system. Same thing the documentation also tells. The documentation tells you sudo apt get update. So apt get was basically the command which was used in the earlier version of the Ubuntu operating system. Now we do it through sudo apt. So let's do. So update has been done. So what this update command does, this basically updates the repositories from which Ubuntu gets its packages. So what happens in Ubuntu, you have package manager, you have apt as a package manager, and when you run a command like something like sudo apt install something, or say vim or any other thing. So what it does, it searches into the repositories and sees where the package for vim is, and it gets it and installs it. But these repositories keep on changing. So after a few days, you need to update these repositories so that your system is always linked with the latest repository out there. So hope that is clear. So once we have updated the repositories, what we will try to do is upgrade our system. So you can see 319 packages can be upgraded. Run apt list upgradable to see them. So let's copy it and see which packages can be upgraded at the moment. So when I run this, you can see all the packages which can be upgraded. So this is the first step which I like to process when I get into a new server. So let's run the command sudo apt upgrade. Okay, and we'll say -y so that it doesn't ask us to approve all those upgrades when we run the command. So this is going to take some time. It will upgrade the system. As you can see, it is getting all the packages. You can see the speed and all those things. So it will just upgrade the system. So let me pause the video and I'll come back when it's done. Okay, so the system has been upgraded and now we are ready to move ahead with the installation of the packages. So let's come to the documentation to see which packages are required. So first, it is telling us to install Nginx. So how do we install Nginx? It is very simple. So we'll run the command sudo apt install Nginx. Even if you don't know, you can see the documentation. As you can see in documentation, it tells sudo apt get installed Nginx. So you can use these commands to install your package. So let's do it. It will ask whether, like, it will tell you you will need to get 564 KB of archives, and after that this information operation almost 1.5 MB of additional disk will be used. Whether you are okay with it, we'll say yes. So in this way Nginx will be installed. So Nginx is our web server. So Nginx is installed. let's see if Nginx is working. So sudo systemctl status Nginx. Okay, so you can see Nginx is working. Now let's also see if the web server is accessible through the internet. Let me copy the IP address. So if you come here and open the IP address in the browser, you can see welcome to Nginx. That means our web server is working fine. Now let's come to the next step. So it is saying if UFW was activated, we need to allow HTTP and HTTPS. Okay, so we'll skip this for now because we need to do other firewall related configuration and security related configuration for production server as well. So for now, let's skip it and let's come to the next point. It tells us to install MySQL. So the command is sudo apt-get install MySQL server, but in Ubuntu 24.04 we can run as sudo apt install MySQL server. It will tell us it needs to get 26 MB of archive, 243 MB with additional disk will be used. Let's approve it, and it will start getting the archives for Ubuntu for MySQL server, and it will install the MySQL server. So as you can see, it is almost done. Okay, so I think it will take some time. Let's wait. It is MySQL is running, PID and all those things it has given us. Okay, so MySQL has been installed. Let's see if MySQL is working. Sudo systemctl status MySQL. Okay, it seems to be working fine. So after installing MySQL, the first thing I prefer to do is to secure the MySQL installation. So let's run the command sudo MySQL secure installation. Once you run it, it will ask whether you want to enable the password strength plugin as well. So we'll say yes. We'll select the strength of the password that will be required. So for now we'll select medium. It will ask whether we want to remove anonymous users. Yes. Disallow root login. Yes. Remove test databases and access to it. Yes. Reload the privileged table. Yes. So mostly you can answer yes to all those questions. So once you have done it, so let's go to the documentation and see what it does. So after installing the MySQL server, it is creating a new user and a database. So let's do the same. By default, MySQL 8.0 on Ubuntu 24.04 uses socket-based authentication. So that means using sudo or through root login, you can directly log into the MySQL server. So let's do that. Sudo MySQL-u root. It will get you inside the router with the MySQL shell. Now let's create a database for our system. So let's create database. Let's name it as GhostDB. The database has been created. Now let's create a user to access this database. So create user. Let's name it as Ghost user at localhost identified by my strong password 2025. Password does not satisfy the policy. As you remember, during securing the MySQL, we had set the password strength to be medium, so that is why it is telling us like that. So let's try to give a new secure password. So create user ghost user at localhost identified by, let's give it my ghost at the rate 2025 hash at the rate. Okay, should work. Okay, now what we need to do, we have created the database, we have created the user. Now we need to give the user the permission to access the database. So let's do it. So we'll do it by grant all on ghost underscore db dot star to ghost user at localhost. Okay, so now our ghost user should be able to access the database. Let's flush the privilege table, flush privileges, and let's exit. Okay, so till now we have installed Nginx, we have installed MySQL server, created a database and a user for our blog. The next step is to install Node.js. So there are commands given and you can install using those commands, but those commands might not work on the latest version of Ubuntu because the mechanism to get the key rings and add repositories have changed. First, let's see which versions are supported. So if you come to this, you can see Ubuntu 22.x or whatever the LTS version is there, it is required. Rest of the versions are not supported. So we'll need to install the LTS version. So let's do it. Let's search. Install Node.js Ubuntu 24.04. Let's open the first link. Okay, so there are a few mechanisms to install it. Either you can use the apt package manager, directly sudo apt install Node.js, but it will mostly install a version that is not supported, as here you can see it has installed 18.19.1. So let's not do it. There is another mechanism as well. You can use apt using node source ppa, so you can add the package repository and you can use node for it, but my favorite methodology is doing it using node version manager. So nvm is a tool using which you can easily switch between node versions, install different versions of node. So I generally prefer it. So you can see here is a command and you can see what, if you run this command, you will understand what script will be downloaded and what it will do. So let's try to run it and see what will be downloaded. So let's run it. So you can see it shows you all the script that will be run and all the changes that will be done. So you can go ahead, read it, and if you are comfortable, you can move ahead. So what we will do is we will install it. So here is the command. Just copy the command. So what this command does, this command gets this shell script and uses bash to execute it as well. So in the last command, what I had done is just get the shell script. We saw what things are being done but did not execute it. Using this command, using pipe, we'll use bash to execute the shell script as well. So let's do it. Let's copy. Let's go back to the server and run this command. So as you see, it is downloading nvm. It has done everything. Now let's see if nvm command is running. No, nvm command is not found. Why? Because the package has been installed but the system currently doesn't recognize its path. So what we need to do, we need to show source or bash rc file. So let's copy it, source bash rc. So basically what it does is it sources the paths again. So let's see what is inside the bash rc. So then it will get clearer for you. So let's come to the last line. So here you can see export nvm dir is equal to, they have added where is the nvm directory, and this is where the bin will be there and all those things. So when you source it, your system, your operating system knows from where to run the nvm command. So now let's see which versions are available. So to do this, you can do nvm ls remote. So it will show you all the versions that are available. So what it does, latest zod. So it is 22.19.0. So let's try to install it. So nvm install 22.19.0. So it will download and install Node.js. So let's wait for it. It is done. Let's see if Node is installed. Yes. Next, what we need to do is install Node package manager or npm. So let's install it. The command is very simple. Sudo apt install npm. It will ask whether we are comfortable with the additions. Let's say yes. It will start installing npm as well. So Node package manager basically installs, removes, upgrades all the packages that are used inside a Node.js application. So we are all set. We have our Node.js, we have our npm. So let npm get installed. Let's go to the next step. We'll see what it does. So after installing npm, we need to install this package, Ghost-CLI. So Ghost-CLI is basically responsible for installing Ghost on your operating system. So once npm will be installed, we'll run this command. So let's copy it. Let's come back. Npm is being installed. So it is almost done. So let's wait for a few seconds. It will be completed. Then we'll install the Ghost CLI. So let's understand the command before. So sudo npm install means use node package managers to install. What do you need to install? Ghost CLI. And the at the rate latest means the latest version of his. -G tells it to install it globally, so it is available everywhere. So this is basically the command. So let's come back. npm is being installed, so it is almost done. Since I'm using a very small configuration VPS, it takes some time, and so let's wait. Okay, so npm seems to be installed. Let's check it. npm-v. So you can see 10.9.3 is installed. Let's install Ghost CLI. So when you run this command, it will get all the data, all the packages, it will install it globally. So we'll be all ready after this to move forward with the installation of our Ghost CMS. Okay, so Ghost CLI has been installed. Next we will need to create a directory where Ghost will be installed. Before all this step, make sure that you have already purchased a domain and the domain is pointing towards the server. So how you can do it is by creating an A record for the domain which will point to the server. You can either install it on the root domain like xyz.com or on a subdomain like demo.xyz.com or blog.xyz.com. Make sure if you're installing it on a root domain, so you have created a record for @ or blank, whatever your DNS provider suggests. And if you're doing it for a subdomain, make sure that if you're doing it for say blog, then you have created an record blog pointing to the server. For this demo, we'll be using blog.tuxstack.com to install Ghost. For the purpose of the demo, I have already done it. I have created an record in my DNS provider. So let's get ahead. What the documentation says is create a new directory, change the owner of the directory to the user, change the permissions, and then install Ghost. So let's do that in the same order. So let's move to /var/www. Here we'll be creating the directory. So let's create the directory, sudo mkdir. Let's say it Ghost. Let's change the owner of the directory, so sudo chown. Let's tell it deploy Ghost. Now let's change the permission, chmod sudo chmod 775 Ghost. Okay, all done. Let's get inside Ghost. Let's run the command ghost install. So it will check out for all the permissions and versions and everything, and when it finds everything is correct, it will download the latest Ghost dependencies and the source code itself. So let's wait for a minute for it to get downloaded. When it will get downloaded, it will start asking questions. So it will ask on which domain you need to install, what is your database details, and all those things. So make sure you have those information handy so that it can be used directly. So it has got all the packages. Now it is asking what will be the URL of the blog. So let's give it https blog.tuxstack.com. Hostname for the MySQL database, it is 127.0.0.1. Name we had given as ghost_user. Password, I think I remember the password. Database name was ghost_db. Let's press enter. It will ask whether we want to set up Nginx, say yes. Whether we want to set up SSL, say yes. It will ask for an email for SSL certificate, so let's say hello@tuxstack.com. So it is setting up everything, setting up SSL, setting up all those details, and this is where the installation completes. So this command will set up everything and you will be ready to go ahead. So do you want to set up systemd? Yes. Want to start Ghost? Yes. Okay, so it is telling like on blog.tuxstack.com/ghost, we need to open this to set up. So let's do it, blog.tuxstack.com/ghost. So it will ask for a few details, so like tux tag blog, full name Ravi Kumar Singh, email hello tuxtag.com, password random password we will give. So I'll forget, so let me write it down. This is an insecure password. Let me give a secure password. Okay, so this has been installed. So now if we open it, let's open it, blog.tuxtag.com. So tuxtag blog is ready, it is installed, and you can manage it from the admin panel. So if you come to the admin panel, it will tell you to customize the design. So it will ask you can upload an logo. So let me upload some logo if I have. Okay, so logo I'll upload. You can upload the icon and all those things. You can choose and theme what you want to do. So these are all pretty intuitive, so you can do trial and error. You can see what works, what does not work, skip onboarding. So this is the Ghost has been installed now. So this was the basic mechanism using which you can install Ghost. Okay, so securing your production, there are few things that you will need to do. Let's start by doing it. So first we will do is we'll enable the UFW, that is uncomplicated firewall. How do we do it? So let's sudo UFW allow HTTP, let's allow HTTPS, let's allow SSH. Okay, so we have allowed HTTP, HTTPS and SSH. So now let's enable UFW. So sudo fw enable. Yes, let's see sudo UFW status. So you can see 80, 443 and 22 are allowed. All the other ports are closed now. So this is a good practice that you should always do. The another thing which I tell everyone to do is to disable the root login on the server, so that by mistake no one logs in into the root using password or any other thing, because if someone gets the access to the root, they can do many things. So how you can do that is by editing the SSHD configuration. So /SSH/SSHD config. So here you can see there is permit root login. So what you can do, you can set it as no. You can disable the password authentication as well. So if you disable the password authentication, then you can add your SSH key, public key directly onto the system, and you will be able to log in without the password. So those are good practices that you can follow, and it will make your server secure as well. You can learn about securing your servers from the other video. I leave the link there. So there it has been explained how you harden all your SSH login and all those things. So use that. So hope this video was helpful for you, and as per Ghost, it is quite intuitive system. So you can go on post, you can create new post. It recognizes markdown as well. So it is up to you to explore all the further things. And just like that, you have done it. You have now a fully functional self-hosted Ghost blog running on your own server. Take a moment to appreciate what you have accomplished. You have not only set up a powerful publishing platform, but you have also learned the fundamentals of server management and how to use official documentation to your advantage. From here, the real fun begins. You can now start customizing your site, writing your first posts, and sharing your voice with the world. And do check the documentation. Ghost has a pretty solid documentation. Please let me know which next tool you want me to tell about, and if the video has helped you in any way, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you.